It started with a sound most of us have learned to ignore, a phone buzzing in the dark. But for General Ibrahim Traoré, that vibration wasn't just a late-night call. It was a whisper from the grave, a voice from the dead, a ghost that knew too much, the kind of call that doesn't ask for permission. It commands your destiny. The green glow of his radio clock cast a faint halo across the room. 3:03 a.m. His uniform lay folded on the chair, his gun tucked under the pillow. The villa was silent, nestled in a government-protected zone just outside the capital. No one knew this number, not even his wife. Only a handful of top intelligence officials had access to that secure line, so when the screen flashed unknown caller, Ibrahim's spine tensed. He answered anyway. Colonel Ibrahim Traoré. A pause. Then, "You mean General Traoré. Congratulations on your promotion." The voice. He hadn't heard it in 5 years, but he'd never forgotten it. Gritty, amused, edged with something colder than anger. It was Marcel Ouedraogo, his former partner, the man Ibrahim had buried in a flagged coffin after the border conflict of 20. The man who was dead. Ibrahim couldn't speak. His mouth went dry. Blood drained from his face. "Do you know what time it is, Ibrahim?" the voice asked again. "I'm watching you. From my grave." That phrase, it detonated something inside him. Every nerve lit up. Every decision he thought he buried came clawing back. Black Diamond, the Bain interrogation, the files in the blue cabinet. Details only Marcel could know. You're supposed to be dead?" The voice chuckled. "Perhaps, but the Red File isn't. The first target will fall in 12 hours. Then the line went dead. Shaking, Ibrahim ripped open the curtain. The darkness outside felt like it was watching him. Surveillance cameras, infrared sensors. Still, it didn't feel safe. Was this psychological warfare? Was Marcel alive? Or worse, was someone impersonating him? Yam. Ibrahim sat stiffly in front of the television. The news anchor was pale, words spilling from her lips like an aftershock. The defense minister's convoy was ambushed early this morning. He is in critical condition. Authorities suspect an internal leak. Ibrahim's phone buzzed again. "Starting to believe me now?" the voice asked, almost gleeful. "Next target? Northern border post. 2 p.m. Join us. Or you're next." He dropped the phone, his breath shallow. Just the two of them had access to that red file, the plan they'd designed to purge the corrupt elite before it was shut down, canceled. Or so he thought. Now it was active. Now it was war. Ibrahim's heart had barely slowed when 2 p.m. came around like a ticking bomb. He sat alone in a dim apartment, far from the comforts of his villa. The walls were bare, the curtains shut. His only company was a muted television screen flashing. Updates every few seconds, then, breaking news. "The commander of the northern border post has been assassinated," the anchor reported. "Attackers unknown. Security forces are investigating." Ibrahim closed his eyes. Marcel wasn't bluffing. He was delivering with precision and with blood. The red file had come to life again, and only 2 men had the blueprint, one trying to stop it and one determined to finish what they started. His phone buzzed. "Are you starting to understand now, Ibrahim?" Marcel's voice cut through the silence. "You made promises. You turned your back. I didn't." Ibrahim clenched his jaw. That plan was scrapped for a reason. It was unstable, dangerous, but necessary, Marcel replied coldly. "You had the fire, but then they gave you medals, a villa, a title, and you forgot the mission. I didn't." There was a pause. Then Marcel's tone shifted. "Come meet me. 3 hours. Village Square. By the mosque. You remember the place. The mosque. Where the Red File was born. Where 2 soldiers once, idealists, once brothers in arms, had dared to dream of cleansing a rotten government. I'll be there. Ibrahim said, his voice low. But this ends today. As he drove, civilian clothes replacing his uniform, he passed through winding country roads flanked by fields and checkpoints. At one such checkpoint, a young lieutenant stopped his vehicle. "ID, please." Ibrahim handed it over. The lieutenant's eyes widened. "General Traoré, we weren't expecting you, sir." "Special mission," Ibrahim replied flatly. "No one is to know I'm here." The lieutenant hesitated, fingers twitching on his radio. "I'm sorry, sir, but there's a search order for you. You're to report to headquarters. Orders from above." Ibrahim's heart sank. Marcel again. He stepped aside. His phone rang. Unknown number. Again. "I told you I planned every move," Marcel said calmly. "Give the phone to the lieutenant." Confused but tense, Ibrahim handed it over. The lieutenant answered, listened, and paled. When he returned the phone, his hand trembled. "You may pass, sir. This conversation never happened." Ibrahim's stomach churned. "What did you say to him?" "Just the truth," Marcel answered with an eerie chuckle. "If he detained you, his village would be wiped off the map." "You're not the Marcel I knew." "I am," the voice responded coldly. "I just outgrew illusions." When Ibrahim arrived at the village, it was nearly deserted. Dust swirled in the afternoon heat. A few old women sat in silence outside their homes. The mosque's door stood, open, creaking gently. Gun holstered but hand-ready, Ibrahim stepped inside. "Put your weapon down," a voice called from the shadows. He turned and saw him, Marcel, scarred, limping, but alive. The burn across the right side of his face looked like molten ash frozen in time. His left leg dragged slightly, supported by a cane in one hand and a pistol in the other. Ibrahim lowered his weapon. "You were supposed to be dead." "I almost was," Marcel replied. "But the villagers found me, I healed, and I planned." "This wasn't the plan," Ibrahim growled. "The Red File was scrapped for a reason. Civilians would have died. We walked away from it." "You walked away?" Marcel hissed. "I walked deeper into the fire. What you saw as retreat, I saw as betrayal." He stepped closer. "You canceled the file." "I didn't. I turned it into a movement. They listened. They trained. And now they're ready." "This isn't a movement," Ibrahim said, breath short. "This is genocide." Marcel's lips curled. "No, my friend. This is rebirth." A thunderous boom echoed outside. The mosque's windows rattled. "What was that?" Marcel smiled. "The war has begun. Our forces struck the northern garrison. Your government never saw it coming. Rebels are advancing toward the capital. By tomorrow, the system you served will be history." Ibrahim was stunned. The Red File wasn't a memory. It was now a map. And Marcel wasn't a ghost. He was the architect of revolution. By nightfall, Ibrahim had vanished into the countryside, the dust of betrayal clinging to his coat. He took refuge in an abandoned farmhouse, its roof sagging under the weight of years, its walls cold with silence. The electricity didn't work. He lit a candle and sat alone with the phone Marcel had given him. He didn't trust the device, but it was now his only lifeline. To danger, to answers. He turned on the old television powered by a car battery, in the corner. The screen flickered with static before settling on chaos. Smoke, protesters in the capital, a new attack in the north. Panic was rising. Order was dissolving. Then the phone rang. But it wasn't Marcel. "General Traoré, you don't know me, but I want to help you." A woman's voice, calm but firm. "Who are you? How did you get this number?" "My name is Aicha Chadialo. I'm a communication analyst at Central Intelligence. I was tracking Marcel Ouedraogo's transmissions. I intercepted your calls." Ibrahim nearly dropped the phone. "So this is a trap? If it were, you'd already be surrounded, but you're not. Because I believe you. I know what Marcel's doing, and I know you had no part in it." He didn't answer immediately. His instincts told him to trust no one. But his gut said something else. This voice wasn't lying. "Why help me?" Because Marcel isn't just trying to overthrow the government, he's selling the country out. He made deals with international arms traffickers, promised them access to mines and territory. I have proof. Ibrahim's voice hardened. Then tell me where to meet you. Tomorrow morning, Marcel will give you a meeting point. Don't go. It's a trap. Instead, meet me at the old state radio station, east of the capital. I'll show you everything. Then she was gone. Ibrahim stayed awake through the night, pacing, thinking. He had no allies. He was branded a traitor. But in Aicha, there might be a thread of salvation. At 9 a.m., Marcel's call came. Good morning, Ibrahim. How's the view from the farmhouse? He didn't respond. There's an old military base east of the capital. You'll meet a man there. He has a package for you. Pick it up. Wait for instructions. Click. No questions allowed. Ibrahim looked toward the horizon, where the sun was rising over distant hills. He made his choice. The road to the radio station was overgrown, the building a crumbling shell of its former self. Government propaganda once boomed from its towers. Now, silence. Inside, in a back room cluttered with old broadcasting gear, a woman waited. She wore simple clothes, glasses, no gun. You came, Acha said, exhaling relief. Barely. If you'd gone to the base, they'd have killed you. It's not a package. It's an execution order. She turned her laptop toward him. Audio files played, Marcel speaking with heavily accented voices. French, Russian, Arabic, the language of war for profit. Weapons transfers, promises of resource access. It's all here. Ibrahim leaned in, jaw tight. What now? We mislead him. We mimic his calls. I can spoof his voice. His number. We'll send fake instructions to his men. Buy time. Confuse them. Ibrahim hesitated. And when he calls me again? We block it temporarily, but we'll have to be fast. He's losing patience. For hours they crafted lies. Messages that redirected rebel units to false targets. Radio chatter misguiding forces. They fed real intel to loyal military units. Then Marcel called. Did you get the package? Ibrahim stalled. Looked at Aicha. She nodded. Yes, I got it. What's in it? A trap. A test. Ibrahim guessed. A handgun. A magazine. A map. Pause. Good, Marcel said. Meet me at the café near the presidential palace. Tomorrow. 10 a.m. The line died. Aicha looked at him. You just passed a test you didn't study for. Outside, the capital shook, but inside the station a plan was forming. The war had gone digital, and Ibrahim had just found the woman who could turn the tide. The sun rose on a city choking on the smoke of rebellion. From every direction the rebels were pressing in, northern streets burning, government buildings barricaded, civilians fleeing in waves. The capital was under siege, but the government wasn't blindsided. Aicha's intel had worked. Loyalist forces were positioned at key intersections. Ammunition caches had been restocked. Reinforcements had quietly slipped into the city overnight. What was supposed to be a massacre was now a standoff. In the middle of the chaos, Ibrahim suited up. Civilian clothes, no insignia, just a single earpiece. A pistol tucked behind his waistband and the ghost of an old friend haunting his conscience. Aicha begged him not to go. He'll kill you. I know, Ibrahim said. That's why I have to look him in the eye when it ends. He left before sunrise. The streets near the presidential palace were deserted, littered with shattered glass and the scent of smoke. The café Marcel had named was still intact, quiet. It looked untouched, like a memory refusing to fade. Inside, a few nervous patrons clutched their coffee like lifelines. The hum of distant gunfire filled the silence. Ibrahim chose a corner, table facing the entrance. 10 minutes early, every second stretched like a lifetime. At 10 sharp, the bell above the door rang. Marcel entered. He wasn't alone. 2 armed men flanked him, hard-eyed, dressed in black. Marcel walked like he owned the city. Like death was just another word. Ibrahim, he said with mock surprise. Why is my phone blocked? You know why, Ibrahim said, standing up. Because you're a traitor. Funny, I thought you were the one hiding in radio stations. You betrayed everything we stood for, Marcel. This wasn't the plan. We were supposed to cleanse, not destroy. Marcel laughed. Naive to the end. Cleansing and destroying, they're the same thing, just depends on who writes the history. I won't let you kill the president. Marcel raised an eyebrow. You already did, remember? That was your mission. You just got cold feet. Fine, I'll finish the job. He gestured subtly to his men. Ibrahim moved first, reaching for his pistol. The room exploded. Glass shattered as special forces burst through the windows. Gunfire erupted. Marcel dove behind a table. One of his men dropped. The other returned fire, taking 2 bullets before falling. Marcel bolted through the kitchen. Ibrahim followed. He chased him into a narrow alley behind the café. The city moaned around them, distant booms echoing like drum beats. They stopped, guns raised. End of the line, Marcel said. You've lost. You think so? Marcel sneered. My rebels have breached the palace gates. The guards are down. The president is cornered. Our men control communication lines. No one's coming. Ibrahim's eyes narrowed. The palace is empty. Marcel blinked. I moved the president last night. He's safe. Your army is storming a shell. We knew every move you'd make. Marcel's lips trembled. No. You're lying. I'm not, Ibrahim said calmly. You've been played, old friend. Marcel roared and fired. Ibrahim was faster. One shot. Center mass. Marcel collapsed, gasping. Ibrahim approached slowly, heart heavy. He knelt beside the man who was once his brother. You were the best of us, Marcel. Until you weren't. Marcel coughed, blood bubbling. It started for justice. Then came the money, the offers, the power. I was tired of watching them eat while our people starved. You became what we swore to fight. Sirens wailed. Soldiers swarmed the alley. Marcel blinked up at the sky. I tried. I really tried. Ibrahim stood. Get him a medic, he ordered. He's not dying today. The war was far from over. 3 days had passed since the gunfire stopped, since the streets had echoed with fear and defiance. The city was quieter now, but not healed. Soldiers remained stationed at checkpoints, rebuilding what could be salvaged. The palace had been spared, though its windows bore the memory of a siege that never fully materialized. The scent of smoke still lingered in the air, and the ghosts hadn't left. Marcel Ouedraogo died in a prison hospital before he could name his contacts. Heart attack, they said. Some called it fate. Others called it a cover-up. No one knew for sure. Ibrahim stood by the window inside Intelligence Command, watching the city breathe again. The president had just left the room after shaking his hand. You saved us, General Traoré. But Ibrahim hadn't smiled. His face remained still, his eyes distant. I only slowed the bleeding, sir. The country is still sick. What happened was just a symptom. The words hung in the room long after he said them. Acha walked in quietly, holding a small black box. We made this for you, she said. Encrypted line, no tracking, not even internal. He took the phone, holding it like a loaded weapon. Something about the weight of it felt familiar. This isn't over, is it? He asked. No, Acha replied softly. It's just beginning. He nodded, pocketed the device and walked down the corridor, past guards who saluted him, past walls still stained with the tension of betrayal, past rooms where silence now spoke louder than any siren. When he stepped outside, the capital greeted him with a strange stillness. Birds chirped over the sound of slow-moving traffic. People swept glass from storefronts. Children pointed at armored vehicles like they were toys from another world. Ibrahim didn't say a word. He kept walking. Then, his phone buzzed. He stopped. Unknown number. His thumb hovered over the screen. He stared at it for a long moment. Then, without answering, he locked the phone, slid it back into his pocket, and walked away.